This is an applied problem about concrete work. It takes 3 hours for 2 concrete mixers to mix a fixed amount of concrete. The number of hours varies inversely as the number of concrete mixers used. How long would it take 5 concrete mixers to do the same job? Well, we need to use the 5-step problem-solving process, and the first step is to familiarize ourselves with the problem. The second step is to translate to an equation. And we can combine these 2 steps in this case. Let's begin by assigning some variables. Let's let t be the time required to do the job. And let's let m be the number of mixers that are used. Now, the exercise told us that we have inverse variation between these 2 variables, between the time and the number of mixers used, so that we know we're going to have an equation of the form t equals k over m, where k is some positive constant, and it's called the variation constant. And now that we have an equation, we are ready to go to the third step in the process, which is to solve. And we'll do 2 steps here. First we'll find k, and then we'll find the final result that we're looking for. So remember that we had the equation t equals k over m, and we were told that it took 3 hours when 2 mixers were used, that t is 3 when m is 2. So we'll substitute 3 for t and 2 for m, and then we can multiply both sides by 2 to find k, and we find that k is equal to 6. So the equation that we'll be working with is t equals 6 over m. And now what we want to do is to find the amount of time required to do the job when 5 concrete mixers are used. So that's the second part of our solution. We have the equation t equals 6 over m, and we want to know what t is when m is 5. So we'll substitute 5 for m. And we can say that t is equal to 6 over 5, or we might want to write this as a mixed numeral. T is equal to 1 1/5. Now the next thing that we need to do is to check this result in the original problem. And there are a couple of things we could do. We could go over the calculations again, just to make sure we haven't made any mistakes with arithmetic or with some kind of algebraic step that we've done. And the other thing is just to stop and think if this seems to be a reasonable answer. The time, well, the number of mixers increased from 2 to 5, and the time decreased from 3 hours to 1 1/5 hours. And this is exactly what we would expect with inverse variation. That is, the number of mixers increased, the time required to do the job would decrease. So we're reasonably certain that we have a correct answer. And that brings us to the 5th step then, which is to state the result. It would take 1 1/5 hours to do the job if 5 concrete mixers are used.